Hello and welcome into the KE Report. I'm your host, Shad Markwitz, and today we're getting an update on Santacruz Silver mining. Santacruz Silver is traded on the TSXV under the ticker SCZ and on the OTCQB under the ticker SCZMF. I'm joined today with the Executive Chairman and CEO of Santacruz Silver, Arturo Préstamo. And Arturo, it's great to get you back on the show, as always, just to get an update on the company. And this time we're going to do something a little different in that we're going to dive into the blue sky upside of the company, the growth potential of the company, and we're going to highlight the Soracaya exploration asset and development asset that you have in Bolivia. Just as a reminder for people listening in, Santacruz Silver is an operating mining company. You have five different mines in Bolivia, as well as an ore feeding business there with San Lucas. You also have the Zimapan mine in Mexico, which is producing and growing. But Soracaya is the next development project for the company in Bolivia. This came from the acquisition you made from Glencore a number of years back, but we haven't really talked about it a lot. And you put out some news to the marketplace just on the 7th of October, where you kind of updated the market on the advancement of this project, preliminary mine and permitting. And we met in Beaver Creek in September and we talked about this project. And I thought it'd just be fun to come on and let's maybe kick it off, Arturo, with you just sharing why now and why it's the next project in the stable to develop towards production.
Thank you, Chad. Thanks for having me here. And yes, absolutely. It's a very exciting property. It's a project that was explored and developed by Glencore back then in the years when they owned this project back then. And it came together with the assets that we acquired. Definitely for us, it's very exciting. It's in the province of Potosí, the highest silver grade areas in the country. And it's a property that has more than 30 kilometers of diamond drilling. You have more than 90 holes, very successful ones, and the silver head grades, just as a note, I mean, it's north of 260 grams. So this is going to be very interesting for us and will add to our silver production in a significant way.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you know as far as the resources already there. I know you have to do some delineation drilling and kind of test some of the work that Glencore did, but as far as what Glencore did do as far as exploration, tell us what historic work's been done on the property.
Absolutely. Well, there was done a very good amount of exploration. Actually, the development ramp, it's already there, accessing two of the most important veins and with significant head grades at those levels. As we speak, we're doing additional geology and actually metallurgy as well, just to fine tune the right metallurgical and mill design. So for us, is the cornerstone for our organic growth, no? Yeah, we have a preliminary mine plan in place, and actually, as we speak, we're revisiting it just to make sure that the mine plan is the appropriate, no? This is a brownfield property. This will give us significant amount of silver ounces. At the beginning, it'll be north of 2 million ounces of pure silver, but once we reach full capacity, it should be significantly more than that. I want to be cautious on my statement as we're working on the right and appropriate mining plan, but definitely it's going to be a significant contribution for our silver production.
Well, I think that's a key point for people to consider, Arturo, because we've talked in the past about the balance of the metals mix, and I think you have about 48% silver in the mix, another 48% zinc, and then the balance in base metals like lead and copper, different things. But in this case, this takes the silver portion of Santacruz Silver up even higher. What do you think it does to the overall mix when this is in production? What do you think the percentages would look like roughly?
Well, roughly, generally speaking, I will say that revenues from silver will be in the neighborhood of 60%, 60, once this mine is in full production, Chad.
Okay, so I think that gives people just a sense of how leveraged to silver Santacruz Silver actually is. There's a lot of silver companies that have silver in their name and they don't really have much silver. So in this case, you definitely do, and Soracaya will help. Now, it says in the historic resources on your website that there's about 4 million tons of ore here. What would that equate to in mine life, or how long do you expect this to run just based on what you know so far?
That's a good question. Well, with 4 million tons, and let's say we continue with the mine plan and idea, I mean, this mine we should be milling around 850 to 1,000 tons per day. That'll give you around 12 years of mine life if you don't keep exploring. But our approach to mining, it's always exploration goes in parallel as we keep mining. So we should expect this mine to increase its resources as we keep moving along and mining here in Soracaya.
Well, and like you say, it's kind of an advanced site in that it's a brownfield site. You already have a ramp, a decline down to the veins. I mean, that's pretty amazing that Glencore did all that work and you can kind of pick it up from there. What kind of a timeline do you think it would be realistic to see it go from the stage it's at now into production?
Well, we expect, I mean, just as a reference, today the mine is permitted for full exploration activities, no? And even we can bring out some ore, very small amounts, like 300 tons a month. So it's very small, but just for metallurgical studies, it's appropriate. But getting it fully permit for a production of 1,000 tons or beyond will take us around 10 months. We have the most important and most, let's say, challenging permit on hand, which is the social permit. So I think in 10 months' time, we should have this mine fully permitted. And in parallel, we're working to have the right mining plan in place and also an appropriate milling facility design. No, let's remember that we're close to Pan American Silver, around 7 kilometers distance. They have been doing mining here for years and in a very productive way. So this is the same geology, same mineralization areas. So we're very excited about how Soracaya is starting to look as we keep advancing it.
Yeah, it's a good point. You're very close to the Pan American San Vicente mine. Now, you brought up the social license and needing to get that. Tell us about the lay of the land there. I know that there's been some recent political elections in Bolivia, but then also the area you're in, as you point out, has mining already. So, what does that look like as far as the new government coming together, but also the lay of the land in that part of Bolivia?
That's a good question, Chad. Well, I guess responsible mining is always welcome, especially in these areas where the most important employers are miners. So that has been very positive. Actually, the communities are welcoming our presence in the area, and everyone is looking forward to have this mine in production. As you mentioned, I mean, the country has been going just yesterday to the last round of political elections where Mr. Rodrigo Paz has won. He's a central right politician. And I think, I mean, we are more focused in our operations. We're more focused in our to do things. So we have been able to work with either party. So we're happy for the Bolivian people that these elections took place in a friendly environment. So yes, I think that's going to be positive for the country in general, and I believe to the mining industry as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a positive development for Bolivia, and I think it's pro-business, and it should be pro-mining, and the area you're in Potosi, is pro-mining as well. So lots of good things happening for the country, but also for this project. Anything else you want to say about Soracaya before we expand to the blue sky at some of the other projects?
Well, I think Soracaya it's a very strong property from a geological point of view, also from its mineralization. It's also a mine that will be a very efficient mine for us to run. We expect all-in sustaining cost to be in the neighborhood of what we have in Caballo Blanco today, which is below $20. So yeah, we're very excited and looking forward to have this mine adding into our production, Chad.
Yeah, and that's not a very long timeline away. Just in a couple of years, you could be producing. So it's an exciting project for the company. Again, raising the silver profile, giving you another development project into a new mine. Let's also talk about the exploration upside at some of the other projects. Like we'll start with Bolivia first, but just any of the other mines that you want to highlight where the team is excited about expansion.
Well, we're always doing exploration as we keep advancing in mining. Definitely, the Bolivar mine has significant upside, as well as Porco mine. Nonetheless, it's our smallest mine in terms of production, Porco. But all of our mines present open blue sky along strike and a deep In Mexico, it's a place where we're doing a lot of exploration recently because we have arrived to level 960. It's a very promising area, and we believe is the future of this mine for generations to come. So far, the results are exciting, and we expect the mine to improve head grades when compared to previous years. In addition to that, cost should keep coming down at Zimapan as we keep bringing less and less capex into the mine because this last year we invested a significant amount of capex because we bought a lot of underground equipment. We built different developments to arrive to level 960. We built also two inclined shafts for ventilation, and we brought all the services, power, water, compressed air, and ventilation as well. So cost should be coming down at Zimapan, and definitely significant amount of upside will be identified here at level 960. So we're very excited about it.
Well, and we've talked a little bit about level 960 at Zimapan in previous discussions, but since we have a little more time here before getting into operations and future discussions, why did the team zero in on this level? Is there other levels beyond 960? Is there more exploration upside here? Maybe give us even a little more color on this because this is a game changer in Zimapan, like you say, to lower cost, increase the mine life. But is there still more exploration upside here at Zimapan, or tell us more about that?
Yes, definitely. We have some areas, Chad. Volume coming from those areas like Estacas and Lomo del Toro. They are very high silver grade areas in the neighborhood of 250, 300 grams of silver. So for Zimapan, that's a significant amount of silver. Nonetheless, the volumes are small. I mean, compared to the 70,000 tons of ore that we mill every month here at Zimapan, we can bring out from Lomo del Toro and from Estacas around 4,000 tons of very high silver head grades, right? But the volume, it's always and will always be small because they are narrow areas. But the Carrizal mine at level 960 is what will give us the volume here, and we'll see head grades increasing in silver slightly. I mean, from 80 grams going to the 90 grams of silver, and zinc going close to 3% from 2.5%. But those slight changes when you're running very high volumes, as we do in Zimapan, they contribute significantly into your financials. So that's why Zimapan is looking stronger as we keep advancing level 960.
All right. So a lot of different growth on tap for Santacruz Silver at multiple mines. You mentioned Porco, you mentioned Bolivar, Zimapan, and then obviously the development project we just outlined in Soracaya. Any final thoughts as far as the growth of the company? And where I'm getting at on this one, Arturo, is are you looking at all at acquisitions? I've had a couple people email me and wonder, would you grow through bolting on another mine in country or outside of country? Any thoughts there?
That's a good question, Chad. And well, with a very healthy balance sheet today, with no debt, no streamings, no royalties, and with a Glencore base payment behind us, we're really well positioned to take a look at other M&A. But our objective will be always to be a project or a property or a company that it's accretive to our investors, and a project or company where we can add value, no? Where we are underground miners and we feel very comfortable doing so. We work on all the different underground mining methods. So that's an area that we feel very strong in our industry. So we're open to see different ideas, always with the main principle to be accretive to our investors. So yes, I mean, we have our eyes open, and if something comes that we feel will be allowing us to grow in a considerable way, we might take a close look.
Okay. So you have the potential to do acquisition, but obviously plenty of organic growth just within the pipeline of projects you already have. So a lot of news on tap in the future for Santacruz Silver. And I'm sure we'll be getting back together when you put out your Q3 numbers probably next month. But until then, we just thought it was fun to talk about the growth profile that the company has. And so for those of you listening in, if you want to follow along with all the news, definitely click on the link below down in the show notes. It takes you right over to the Santacruz Silver website, straight to their news section where you can sign up for updates that hit your email inbox or just follow along with the news as it's released. Arturo, thanks for jumping on the KE report and give us this update. And as always, looking forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Chad. It's always a pleasure for me to be here with you and with your audience. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.